Late one night on a winding country road where shadows dance between ancient trees and moonlight barely pierces the darkness, Tom Mitchell was driving home from a long shift at work. The radio crackled with static, and the headlights cut through the thick fog that had settled over the asphalt. That's when he saw her, standing at the roadside, a young woman in a white dress, her arms wrapped tightly around herself. She looked so fragile, so out of place in the midnight darkness. Tom's instincts told him to keep driving, but something about her vulnerability made him slow down. She approached his window, her movements oddly graceful. "Please," she whispered, her voice barely audible above the idling engine. "I need to get home." Her skin was pale as moonlight, and Tom noticed she was shivering despite the mild autumn night. He nodded, unlocking the passenger door. As she settled into the seat, she gave him an address just a few miles down the road. Tom remembers thinking how strangely cold the car became, how the leather seats seemed to crackle with frost where she sat. They drove in silence, the only sound being the soft hum of the engine and the occasional static from the radio. Something felt off. Her eyes, they never blinked. They stared straight ahead, reflecting the moonlight like polished glass. Tom's hands gripped the steering wheel tighter, his knuckles turning white. Halfway through the journey, at a sharp bend in the road, he glanced over to ask if she was okay. The seat was empty, just empty. No sound, no movement, no trace that anyone had been there at all. Tom's heart hammered against his ribs, but something compelled him to continue to the address she'd given. With trembling legs, he approached the old house at the end of the lane. His knock echoed through the night, and after what felt like an eternity, an elderly woman opened the door. Her eyes were tired, filled with a sadness that seemed to reach across years. Before Tom could speak, she looked past him to his car and whispered words that made his blood run cold. "You saw her, didn't you? That was my daughter. She died on that road 10 years ago tonight, trying to get home in a storm just like this one. And every year, she still tries to make it home. They say on dark nights, when the fog rolls in thick and heavy, you might see a young woman by the roadside still trying to complete her final journey. But remember, some passengers are better left where you find them."